Hi, this is Randy. Glad to have you on my channel today. I hope that all is well with you. God's been good to us. If you have an opportunity, in the right hand corner at the bottom, little red box, if you would subscribe, give me a thumbs up. That's the only way I can get my video pushed out, is if the channel grows. And I appreciate everyone that has subscribed. We're going to move on to what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about being a good friend. A lot of people don't know how to be a good friend, or they don't know how that good friends should treat you, but we're going to talk about that today. Everyone needs some good friends. Let's begin in Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 3. It says, "Let love and faithfulness never leave you. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart." Good character qualities to have are to love, faithfulness. In order to have them, you must have a good attitude and have good intentions, and make sure that when you give your word to your friend that you mean what you say. This is what we want to do, being a good friend that's dependable, a good friend that's honest, a good friend that'll tell you the truth when no one else will. You want the truth from them. In order to be a loving person, you should be able to show love and kindness to other people and faithfulness to them also. A friend should be faithful to his friend. If someone wants to talk bad about him, you say, "Hey, I don't want to hear that. I'm not going to listen to it. He's my good friend. I'm not going to do that." You got a problem with him, go talk to him. You put a stop to it. Why? Because he's your friend. A friend that sticks with you through thick and thin. I've had a couple of friends that I've had my entire life. And even though we live in different cities, one of them lives about 300 miles from me. The other one lives in another state. But we grew up together. We were friends together all the way into our 30s. Then we each moved to a different area, but we stayed in touch. We talk. We're on Facebook together. One of them is on Facebook. I talk to him almost every day. The other one's not. I don't have Facebook, but I talk to him on the phone, and we talk, quite frequently. Why? Because they've been my friends my entire life. So you need to have good friends, and I know that if I ask them for honesty, I'm going to receive honesty because I've known them for so many years, ever since I was a kid. I can't remember life without them. And so we need to realize that a friend is someone who is loyal and they're to help you when you need help. We should not take advantage of them. We should show them love and kindness and be faithful, and to let them know that we're there for them. That's what we need to do with a good friend. A good friend, you do that. Now, Facebook has been a wonderful thing in a lot of ways. I know a lot of people like to criticize it all the time. And I understand that. And I realize there are people that misuse it and abuse it. But what has Facebook done for me? It's enabled me to be able to keep track of nieces, nephews, great nieces and nephews, great nieces and nephews. I don't know how many I have now. I really don't. The last time I counted was like 3 or 4 years ago, and I had over 55 nieces, nephews, great nieces and nephews, and great nieces and nephews. It was either 55 or 60, somewhere in that range here. It's probably more by now. But see, I'm able to interact with them. When they graduate high school, they got their pictures on there. When their birthday's on, they put their pictures on. When they achieve something at school, they put it on there. My great niece graduated college about 3 or 4 years ago, and she was there on a scholarship for soccer, and she is a very beautiful young lady and married a good-looking young fellow who's a police officer. And matter of fact, they've had their first child. It seems like I'm part of their life because I see all the pictures and I'm able to interact and talk to them and all that. That's wonderful. And this is the way I've kept up with a lot of friends. Also, I've been able to have friends that I went to high school with, grade school with, A couple I worked with for several years after we got out of high school and grade school together, and we've been able to reconnect, and I can see their wife and their children, their grandchildren, what they're doing. It's wonderful. Why? We have close friends, and then we have friends that are friends for life, and then we have friends that maybe have been gone for a long time and they re-enter your life, and it's good to have friends. And in school, I had a very tight knit circle, just a few good friends. I wasn't real. The Bible says if you want friends, you have to show yourself to be friendly. I was in high school, I had over 2,500 students. Then you throw in all the teachers and the faculty and the guards that we had and everything. It was like a small city. So I had a small knit friends that I stuck close to, and after school I kept in touch with some of them, not all of them, but some of them. Some chose to move on, and you know how people's lives are. People move to other places. I've had friends reconnect from me that live in Colorado and live in Illinois, and they live in Alabama, and they've moved all over the place. But hey, I've been looking for you and all that. So that's the way we reconnect, and we have friends. A good friend will not believe or listen to bad words that somebody may speak about you, and they know they'll say up and say, hey, I don't want to gossip. I know them better than you. I've known them my entire life. I'm not going to let you talk about my friend like that. All right, if you want to shoot that off, why don't you go talk to them? Are you man enough to go face them, talk to them to their face? I don't like people talk behind people's back all the time. Always trying to knife somebody in the back. I've never liked people like that. That's probably why I don't have a big abundance of friends. One thing that kept me from it, unfortunately, my father was a pastor, and he pastored a pretty large church when I was growing up. And he told me, son, you can't get too thick with a lot of people, because if you do, then other families feel like you're playing favorites, and you're not. And so I had there was a lady that went to our church, had 4 sons, and they were my friends. And I'd go home with them sometimes on Sunday, eat dinner. We'd shoot hoops in the afternoon or whatever. And then 2 of them became real close friends of mine. The other 2 were older than me, and they got married before I did, and they moved out before I did, and they quit coming to church, but the 2 younger ones didn't. They went all the way to the church till I left. And so we remained close, and we were close friends. And so when you have close friends for life, you're not going to allow people, you know them better than anybody, because you've grown up with them, you've been around them, you've hunted with him, you've fished with them, you've played baseball and softball with them, you've been through the highs, the lows, and the good times and the bad, and they're your friend. And if you're a friend, you're really a friend. So in the day in which we live, love and faithfulness is hard to come by. All right? You should keep them around your neck, write them on your tablet of your heart, because good friends are worth more than money. My wife has a friend, Anita. They met each other when they were little bitty kids, and she lived next door to him, moved in next door to him. And Anita's dad was a preacher, and he invited her to go to church, and she started going to church. And as she got older and realized what was going on, she gave her heart to the Lord. They've been friends their entire life, and they're still friends. They still go places together, visit each other. Anita and Dave are wonderful people. And my wife has a friend for life, and she's always been there for my wife, and my wife's always been there for her. It's good to have friends like that. That's wonderful to have that kind of relationship where you can have it from the time you was a little kid all the way up. Water break. In this day we live in, there's not a lot of people that have real close friends sometimes. Proverbs 17:17 says, a friend loves at all times. If you're a friend, you love people at all times, even when they're not doing good. When they've done something stupid, they call and say, man, I've done something stupid. Would you come over and help me out? I need somebody to talk to. They're your friend. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. And this verse is telling us in the Bible, a true friend is someone who shows love constantly, especially during difficult times for your friend. You're with them whether they're low or high, whether they're off to the south or off to the north. They're still your friend, and you're still there for them. And if they call you, if one of my close friends calls me and says, Randy, I got a problem. Can I talk to you? Sure you can. Can you, if they live around here, can you run by and see me? Can you talk to me? I got a real close friend here in town that's the best friend I've got in the town we live in. Well, we don't live in town. We live out of town, but right by the town. And if he called me at 3 in the morning and said he needed me, I'd be over there. All right? If he called me at 5 in the morning, midnight, I don't care. Holiday. He says, I got a problem. I need some help. I'm going to go. Why? Because he's my best friend that I have here. You have best friends. He's the best friend I have anywhere within 200 miles of here. He's my best friend. I worked with him for several years. I sold him a vehicle before he ever came to work at the place where I worked at. And we've been friends for over 35 years. And I got another one here in town. I knew him before I even moved here. And we've been friends for close to 40 years. If he called me at 2 o'clock in the morning and said, Randy, I need help. I said, what can I do? Could you come over here? Or could you, whatever? I'd be there. I'd do it. Why? Because they're my friend. You need friends, folks, and you need to be friendly to people. If you're a good friend, you'll show it. Proverbs 27:9. Perfume and incense bring joy to the heart, and the pleasantness of a friend springs from a heartfelt advice. All right? A heartfelt advice, a good friend. If you're a good friend, you'll always level when you give them advice from your heart. You'll be honest with them because you love your friend and you love them and you want them to have the best in life and do the best. So if they ask you for your opinion to help them, then you give it to them honestly. Unfortunately, over the years, I've had some friends that had met a girl and they wasn't working so good. And I knew that she was no good for him. Now, I didn't mean she's a bad person. When I say no good, I don't mean she's a no good person. She's not meant to be with him. It's like oil and water. Does that make sense? Doesn't mean she's a bad person. Just means him and her are not going to work out. And they'd say, what do you think? I said, don't ask, because I'm going to have to tell you the truth. I've had friends get mad at me. Maybe didn't speak to me for a little while because I told them the truth. But that's what true friends do. What happened? Him and her broke up. She went on her way. He got hurt bad. What happened? My phone rang. I go over. And he says, you were right about her. I should have listened to you. I'm sorry. I said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Love takes you different ways and all that. And a woman, she can just manipulate some guys sometimes, and men too. It's not just women, it's men. In his case, the lady. But I said, we're still friends. We always was. I never left you. You left me, but I stayed there, and I was still concerned. I still prayed for you. He come around. Why? Because if you're a true friend, you're going to tell them the truth, not what they want to hear. True friends don't tell people what they want to hear. You level with them and tell them the truth. And it may cost you. Like a couple of my friends that walked away from me for a short period of time. It hurt. But I had to tell them the truth because I loved them and I'm their best friend. I'm their good friend. And I'm not going to lie to a friend to appease them and steer them wrong and make them go further into the hole than they're already in. And so you level with people. We should not choose people by the importance of how important they are. Choose friends. Network with people that can help you go farther to the top. That's not the kind of friends I need, nor it's the ones I want. And I'll be honest with you, folks. I have never had a desire in my life to be rich. Never. When I was a kid growing up, I never thought about stuff like that. When I was a teenager, I never thought nothing about that. But you hear a lot when you're a teenager and a young guy. When I first got my first job and I'm working and I'm 18 years old, and guys say, what do you want to do with your life? What are you looking for? I heard several guys say, I'd love to be rich. I want to make $1,000,000 before I'm 30 years old. I want to, I want to own a home in a certain community, and I want to have a lakefront house, and I'd like to have, $1,000,000 in the bank, et cetera, et cetera. I never thought that. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong or indifferent. I never had a dream of being rich. Didn't want to be rich. I don't know. I guess because I met rich people. I met them. Also seen ball players and TV personalities who live miserable lives, married several times, having rehab after rehab and all sorts of problems. And I thought, if being rich brought you true happiness, why aren't all these people happy? They're rich. They're famous. They take their own life. Yeah, you can go on YouTube, Google it if you don't believe me. Yeah, how many people died before they were 50? How many died before they were 30? I mean, rock bands. When I was young, I liked playing some rock music. I played in the rock band at high school, played in the marching band, and etc. I played at church. I played for 2 or 3 weddings, and stuff. Made a little coin now and then, and I loved playing. But look how many rock people, they call it the 27 Club. And I can't remember them all, but I'll just rattle 2 or 3 to give you an idea. Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, the guy that was the lead singer for The Doors, and you can go on and on. There's probably 10 to 15 of them that all died at age 27. And they call it the 27 Club because of drugs, alcohol, their lives ended at age 27. Famous, rich, millions of records, everybody loves them, but yet they wind up dying at age 27. Many of them died in their 30s, and some earlier than 27. So we need to realize that I realized as a young man that was not for me. My goal was to have a wonderful wife, preferably pretty. All right. I wanted a beautiful wife, and I wanted to settle down and have a nice, decent home. When I say decent home, I'm not talking about $1,000,000 house. I'm talking about just a decent home for me and my family. I wanted to raise some kids and have grandchildren, and I wanted to have my home paid off and be out of debt. Maybe have a little money in the bank. That's in a good retirement. That's what my goal was in life. I never wanted to be a rich person, nor did I want to be famous. I don't know if I was not motivated properly or whatever, but I met a gentleman, and he was kind of distant, and we became casual friends. And there was a young man, his wife was dating him, and he was my friend. And I said, he's always speaking real nice to me. When I see him, he comes up and talks to me and everything. I said, but he's kind of distant. And he goes, you don't know why? I said, no. I said, what's up to you? He goes, he won the lottery. And when he won the lottery, people he went to high school with, this guy was in his mid-50s when he won it. People he went to high school with, he hadn't heard of since high school, started contacting him. Second and third cousins started contacting him. People come by his house all day long and everywhere. He had his own little business. They go down to his business, bother him down there. He finally told the men that worked for him, look, I'm just going to come in the evening after we're closed, check everything over. You guys know how to do your job. I'll write things out for you. However, he worked it out with them. And he went and rented a condo about 30 or 40 miles away and didn't tell anybody where it was at, didn't give him his phone number, nothing, and he left his home. He didn't want to give his home up. He didn't want to buy a new home. He loved his home, been there for years, but he had to move out of it and get out of there so people would leave him alone. And so that hit me one day, and I thought, everybody always talk about winning the lottery. I like the big, and I had people used to say to me, hey, do you know that lottery's up to $500 million or something like that. I don't know, 700, maybe it was a billion, but it was a lot, 500 million. And I say, I wouldn't want that kind of money. And when I'd say that in the store, when people are waiting to get pay at the gas station, I was going to get a pop and a donut or whatever. And because I already filled my tank, I paid for my tank outside. But when you go in, I went in. You thought I would told everybody I was holding the place up when I said, I don't want to win the lottery. And they'd stopped in their line. Every head popped around, looked at me. People said, are you crazy? I said, do you realize that if you won $500 million, number one, if you take it all at one time, they're going to cut it in half. So that's $250. Then they're going to take taxes out of that. Then you can choose a 30-year payout. I looked this up when I found out that guy won the lottery. You have to take 30-year payout, or if you won it all at once, you get even less. All right? And so this one guy won $8 million, and his life changed tremendously. He had to move, get a condo, live away for a year. Then he moved back home without anybody knowing, but still people bothered him. He had his phone number changed. He finally had to sell his house and move and not let nobody know where he lived at because they wouldn't leave him alone. If you won that kind of money, folks, you would never have peace. People would hound you and be after you all the time for money, and it would drive you nuts. Not only that, let me touch on this and then I'll move on. This is getting longer than I wanted, but this is kind of going off here, so bear with me here. I'll get back on the road. I took a detour. If you won that kind of money, not only would people be after you all the time, you wouldn't know who your true friends was. If they really love me or they love my money. Are they after me because they love me and care about me, or are they after the almighty dollar? And it would change your life if you won that kind of money, $500 million or $1 billion before taxes, and whether you take a 30-year payout all at once or whatever. You would never be the same. You would never have peace. Not only that, you make your children, grandchildren targets. And it just, people have this thing in their head that money solves all problems. And if I had all this money, I would be happy. But like I said, look at all the entertainment people, singers and actors and actresses who have buku bucks, married 5 or 6 times or more. Mickey Rooney was married 8 times. All right, he was married 8 times. I guess, I don't know. Maybe 8. If he had lived longer, maybe he'd been married 10 times. He was married 8 times, and they're in and out of rehab all the time. In and out of rehab, in and out of rehab. Why? Because money don't bring happiness, but having a loving family and close friends, that's something money can't buy. If you've got plenty of money, you can have plenty of friends. But when the money's gone and there's only 2 people left standing that has anything to do with you and the other 15 are gone, they were really your true friends. Friends love you because they love you, not your almighty dollar. And if you don't believe that, it's the truth. Just research it and look what people do, how they have plenty of friends as long as they got money, all right? So we need to realize that we should know the importance of choosing good friends. They're worth more than money. I would rather have my home I live in. It has 2,100 square feet. More than enough space for me and my family. More than enough space for us. I don't need 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 square feet. All right? It's a modest home, and that's all I need, and I'm happy. Paul said to be content in all things. All right? My Ram truck, I'm content with it. All right? If my Ram truck's in the shop getting serviced, I drive my 84 Ram. I got a Rampage. I drive that Rampage. You don't know what it is? Look it up. You'll see different thing. I love driving my old trucks. I mean, I'm happy. I'm content with what I just want friends that are really friends and family that loves me. And that's what I've always wanted, and I wanted to have peace of mind from the Lord, that when I lay my head down at night, if I don't wake up, I'm going to be with Him. And that God is going to be good and bless me. And that's what God's done for me. I've got exactly what I wanted. Family, friends, decent home, not rich, not famous, don't care. All right, you say, why are you on YouTube? I'm trying to help people, let them know what real life's about. They got enough people on there shouting at them, hollering at them, send me $244 because in the second chapter and 44th verse of this Bible, the Lord said this, so you send me that money. The Lord told me you should. That's not the Lord. They're money hungry, money grubbers. They're on there all the time, like the people like that. You should turn the channel as quick as you could. Stay away from those people. They're not your friends. They're lying to you. God will talk to you if he wants you to do something. He won't talk to them to tell you, all right? We should know the importance of choosing friends carefully. Choose your friends carefully that you're going to hang around with and you're going to share your life with. Looking for those who offer loyalty, support, honesty, sound advice, even when it's different than you believe, even when you don't want to hear it. They'll be true to you because they're your friend, all right? I had a friend one time I had to tell him, he was trying to buy a car and wanted me to go by and look at it with him. So I went by and looked at it with him. He goes, what do you think? I said, nice car. He goes, well, do you know, walk around it with me. And it was a brand new car. And I said, okay. He said, what do you think? I said, it's a wonderful car, but me and you work at the same place, we make the same amount of money. Did you check on your payment on this? Well, not yet. Did you check on the car insurance? No. I said, this got a high performance engine in it. It's not going to be cheap. Your insurance is may be more than your car payment. Oh, no. Yeah. So he checked into it and he told me, oh my God. He goes, the car payment and insurance together, he goes, they'd take one of my full paychecks out of 4 and half of another check just to pay the payment of the car insurance. He said, I was kind of aggravated you because I wanted that car. I said, why? He goes, because you told me I couldn't afford it. Well, he had to find it out on his own. Thank God he found it out and didn't buy it, but we need to realize that if you're going to be a good friend, you have to give sound advice, even if it don't line up with what they want to hear. Because if they're walking around a car that they can't afford, and they're saying, oh, what do you think? What do you think? Oh, yeah, I love it too. It's really nice. I'm going to try to get it. Yeah, well, that's what you ought to do. No, you don't tell them that. Tell them the truth. And you don't do it out of jealousy, all right? You're jealous because your friend got a promotion. I got a friend today, been my friend my entire life. We both applied the same place. They hired him. They didn't hire me. Real good job. Great benefits. I didn't get mad. I was happy for him. I really was. I was happy that one of us got the good job. I didn't, but he did. I was happy for him. All right? And when he bought his first brand new car, I didn't have a brand new car yet. I'd driven 3 used ones that were pretty old. He got a brand new car because he got the real good job. After about a year, he saved up. He put a big chunk down and bought the car. I was happy for him. Matter of fact, when he showed it to me, I said, hey, get in there. Let's go for a ride. Take me for a ride. Why? Because he was my friend. I loved him. I still do. I wanted what was best for him. I was so happy he got a new car. I had 2 or 3 friends tell me that day before we left church, I don't know how you can afford one like that. I wished I could. I said, he works hard and he's got a good job. Well, yeah, I guess that's true, but, that brand new car, I go, what's wrong with it? I said, don't do that. He's your friend, isn't he? Yeah, you ought to be happy for him. Well, I can't afford one. I said, well, if that's the way you're going to be. I've never been that kind of person. I can't do that. I rejoice with them that rejoice and weep with them that weep. If my friend's father died, and I'd go put my arm around him, if he was crying, I'd put him right out here, and I'd cry with him. Why? Because he's my close friend. I'm going to feel his pain. Why? Because you care about people. Proverbs 13 and 20. Whoever walks with, Whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools will suffer him. If you walk with wise people, you're going to be wise. If you walk around with people that are nothing but trouble, you're going to have troubles. All right. You don't know how many guys I knew. We weren't close friends. We were just casual friends. Maybe I went to school with them. Maybe they came to my mom and dad's church for 3 or 4 years and they moved on. You run into them once in a while in the neighborhood or whatever. And they'd run with people that were in and out of trouble with the law all the time. And they wind up getting in trouble. And they call and they say, could you bail me out? Could you give me some money? And I'm like, what's wrong with your family? Talk to your mom and dad and your brothers and sisters. They got in trouble. Why? Because they hung around with fools and they suffer like fools. Whoever walks with the wise becomes wise. But whoever's a companion of fools will suffer harm. So you have to choose. I wasn't better than them, but I wasn't going to run around with people that were fools. I was riding around one time in high school. I had some buddies pick me up that I went to school with. We weren't close friends, but we were in class together. They saw me walking down the street. Hey, hop in. We're going down to Velvet Freeze. We go down there. They started talking about doing something that was illegal. I got up, started heading for the door, and they said, we ain't leaving yet. I said, I'm not going nowhere with you guys. I'm headed home. Come on, it's Friday night. It's only 9 o'clock. We're going to go run around, do this and that. I said, no. Not interested. You guys have a good time. I walked on home. A long walk from there, but I walked on home. Well, when I got to school Monday, I found out they got arrested, and they all got charged with something. I'm not going to go into it, but they got in trouble. If I'd have been with them, I would have got in trouble. But when I found out they were going to do something stupid, that's when we parted company. I thought, these guys are not my friends. They're just guys I know from school. I don't know anything about them. And when they started doing about something stupid, I moved on. Why? Because if you walk with people that are wise, you're going to be wise. But if you hang around with fools, you're going to suffer harm. Let's get down to the last bit of it here. A true friend. What is a true friend? A true friend is someone who is there for you when he'd rather be somewhere else. Now, if you don't understand that, I'll use it in my own layman terms I understand. If I got 2 tickets to the Kansas City Chiefs football game at the 50-yard line in row 5 or row 1 center, all right, at the 50-yard line, and I got a close friend that calls me and says, look, I've been in an accident, I got hurt, or I've had some trouble, I need you to come right now. All right? Then I get on the phone, try to find somebody to take my tickets. All right? A true friend is someone who's there for you when they'd rather be somewhere else. I can talk about me. I don't know about you. I'm not bragging on me. But that's the kind of friend I am. I don't have a lot of personal friends. Yeah, you have a lot of friends. How many people on Facebook have 2,500, 5,000 friends on Facebook? They're not all their personal friends. They have very few personal friends. They know them, went to school with them, worked with them. They're related to my third cousin and went out, that kind of stuff. But I'm talking about true friends. True friends that really stick with you no matter what. Stick with you as close as a brother. Someone who is there for you when they'd rather be somewhere else. That's a true friend. Everyone needs good friends. It's up to you to choose wisely who you want to be your friend. At the end of this, there will be a place for you to watch another video on one side, and on the other side there's a picture of me. If you could click on that and subscribe, give me a thumbs up. This helps me get this pushed out to others. I don't critique other pastors. I don't put up video of other churches. That's not my cup of tea. I don't do that. I'm just me. I'm an ordinary. Been preaching almost 50 years. A pastor for many years, evangelized, and I am who I am. And I'm just an ordinary guy. And I'll never be famous. I'll never be rich. And I'm okay with that. I'm not on YouTube to make money. If you look how many subscribers I have, how many views I got, you'll know I'm not making any money at this. And that's not why I'm on here. But I do help people from time to time. I get emails. I get people to thank me for my video. And so if I help one here and there, get over a rough patch or rough spot, then that's good. That's what God wants me to do. He didn't call me to be successful. He didn't call me to be the biggest on Facebook or on YouTube. He called me to be faithful. and I'm a good friend, and I love people and just want to help them. Old Rev May signing off. You have a wonderful day. Thank you for your time this time. Till next time, please come back on there and watch the videos again and make a comment if you'd like. I get back to you as quick as I can. Subscribe. God bless you.